So I feel like Martin Luther King, there's some things that I disagree with. But at the same time, I feel like a lot of the way they like it's hard to understand what he meant and his image in the 60s today in 2023. It's hard to try to capture the vibe around Martin Luther King. Like that's like somebody tell us what Kobe Bryant meant before he died. It's like, well, if you weren't really around to see him his run, like it's hard to kind of tell you how important he was to people. So at Martin Luther King, it's easy to sit back now, enjoying the fruits of his labor, and speak on what he did or didn't do wrong according to the people who wrote articles about him and made money off of him after his death. But to be honest, if we can ask ourselves, did Martin Luther King make this a better place before he died? Yeah, like unequivocally, if you say yes, and he did his job. He wasn't supposed to save every black person. He did what he was supposed to do. Malcolm X was not really allowed to fulfill his duties, but I feel like when it came to MLK, who was almost there, but once he kind of woke up and understood that we need to get our reparations, and he said we are coming for our check, and he started the Poor People's Campaign, and the Poor People's Campaign wasn't about just black people; it was about people across America that weren't making ends meet. You know, um, they took him out of here because he was making it known that this isn't about black or white; it's about rich and poor, and the rich are making the poor turn against each other. And if you don't realize now, then you're just going to be eaten alive. And I think because he was getting on that, they took him out. And because he wanted niggas to get their reparations, they took him out. So, Advil, I want to ask you this. You're like Colombian, right? Don't they kick the shit out of you motherfuckers in Colombia? Do they put you niggas on Colombia on TV? Name me one black Colombian activist that actually got anything done for you motherfuckers. I'm just asking. If Colombia was so great, if Colombian blacks were so fucking great, why are you in America doing, like Uber Eats? If Colombia is so great, now why come over to the country Dr. King died for to make it comfortable for you to come over here and do Uber Eats? Like, can you even do Uber Eats back in Colombia? They even let dark skinned Colombians do Uber Eats? I'm just asking the question. You saying a lot about Dr. King. I'm just asking you, as a black Colombian, like how you guys doing over there? You guys still living in the slums or what? Like, is there like a black Colombian we can all look to as like somebody that's done things in America? I don't claim Colombia that place and name after a colonizer. Isn't that where you from though? Isn't that your homeland, right? I'm just asking, like, is that your homeland? So that is your homeland, and it's still a third world country, and they kind of you know relegated and segregated black people to the slums and kind of make sure you guys won't be seen by national media or the world abroad. Same thing they do blacks in Brazil. So what I'm asking you is, you have so much to say about Martin Luther King, but my main point is, can you tell me one Colombian immigrant that's done anything, or one black Colombian that's done anything for the advancement of black Colombians? Or did you guys just all run to America because black people made it easy for you to blend in and do Uber Eats and
Well, we
DoorDash?
know Black Colombian didn't do anything. Alvo, you in the building? I see you tapped in. Don't come in and talk tough. Just
No, this is just conversation. Like, rep your
just
homeland,
chill.
rep your flag of corruption.
Alvo, you in the building? Unmute your mic. We're gonna take you out of here, man. Till you get your
No, just mute your mic. Unmute your mic. Just let him. Just let him. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he's getting his notes together. I don't know. Maybe he's googling stuff. I'm just trying to make sure he gets in out here for like my nigga Aaron coming here or Eric coming here and cook up something decent.
I wasn't trying to dump on Dr. King. I'm just trying to put some of the facts out there to show black people how we've been used
Right.
from the beginning to push this agenda that we see today. This thing been 60, 50 years, over 100 years in the making. That's what I'm trying to say. And it started with Dr. King. And then Dr. King got off course with their agenda. Then they took him out to keep this agenda pushing forward.
Right.
This stuff is not just like Dr. King made a mistake. Dr. King was used too. We all being used. That's what I'm saying. I'm not blaming on Dr. King, but he was being used too. And once he realized he was being used, then he tried to double back, and that's when he got took out. But we all being used.
Yeah, like I
But
said, yeah,
everybody
go ahead.
working with their group but us. That's what I'm saying.
Now, I think we're working together, really working to a certain point.
A certain to a point, it's not no point in everybody else. It's a point with us, not with everybody else. Well, I don't know.
I mean,
Yeah,
we're having a good conversation, but
yeah, I know. I don't know
let yeah,
shit.
no,
I
for
don't
sure.
know
Let's
anything.
let's get into these topics, though. You know what I'm saying? Let's get to these topics.
You say send another link.
Oh, hey,
It
let's.
ain't no another link. Link.
Okay, we're gonna send the link to you one more time, Avo, and give you like a minute to type to tap in before we start the show. I don't know if you're on your little or if you're on the Puerto Rican headset. You on some type of you on the African perks. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if them African perks. You know what I'm saying? Got you with the Bobby Brown jaw. But I would like you to call in. Let's have a conversation about why you have so much to say about Martin Luther King. And if you can, and hopefully your Google searches, hopefully we gave you enough time to Google some type of Colombian activist that probably got his head blown off in the fucking mud hut trying to get you guys rights to sit on the back of the fucking back of the horse, you know. Yeah, let's go with what topic we want to talk about. Yeah, I think we talk about African immigrants gunning down black Americans. I think that's a correct topic we should go on. You see the title and description. We're gonna have a good conversation about us in the diaspora, and salute to Minister Farrakhan's 1993 sermon when he talked about the murder of Malcolm X, which was titled "Hard Trials Are Necessary to Establish the Truth." And today we're gonna have some hard trials that will be necessary to establish the truth in a multitude of topics. So, Avo, are you in the building? What's going on? Is your Jamaican Bluetooth connecting?
Nah, I had to download Chrome because the Safari was not allowing me. Salute, happy MLK Day to the FBA community.
All right, that's what's up. That's what's up. Introduce yourself. All right, keep going, keep going. Yeah.
And also, shout out to the Jaguars. I was gonna talk mad shit on y'all. I seen that game 27-0, and that comeback was legendary. I can't even lie. I like football. That was amazing.
Yeah, man, I was in the building, man. We didn't lose hope. We
I
just
see
knew
you
that.
was with the whole family. That's what's up. I mean, like start the year off. That's a good way to feel. Like even though it's just a W, it's still a lot of playoffs to go. But smoking on
Yeah,
the Buccaneer pack right now, though.
yeah, man. I'm surprised the Cowboys actually showing up and showing out, but that's not my problem. I know we advanced, I know Giants advanced. You know what I'm saying, and you kind of see in the playoffs, man. It's winner go home. It gets real quick, real quick. Salute to the Gift and the Curse podcast. Like, share, subscribe. Hey, listen, Killer. I told him we got a little midday afternoon lunch break show coming up. Niggas got hype. We're gonna go over the details a little later, but you know what I'm saying. We got something cooking up real nice for everybody. But yeah, Avo, tell me what was you saying about Martin Luther King on
All right,
Martin King's
so
birthday?
so I see what you're trying to paint. You looking like Picasso right now with this narrative you're trying to paint on me. So I do agree with what you just said that when MLK was about division, when MLK was about black supremacy, they pushed that narrative. And as soon as he started talking about the 1% and started talking about not about like what makes us different about in race, but more about how it's about the have-nots and the people that actually have. And yeah, that's the time that they kill him. I'm part of Occupy Wall Street. That's how my activism career started. As a 17-year-old, I was walking through Tribeca. I saw a protest. I don't know what the fuck was it, and that's my initiation to the political world. I've been part of Stop and Frisk. My name is in the legislation. I also been a person that when I graduated at 16 from high school, I realized that I didn't have no papers. I came here with a visa, but
Hold
I
on,
came.
hold on, pause, pause, slow
Go ahead.
down,
Go ahead.
slow down.
Go ahead.
So are you telling me you currently don't have a visa right now, or
No, no.
have you got that
You didn't let
situated?
me finish. You didn't let me finish. I didn't have papers back
I want to
then
make
at
sure. I want to
16.
make sure because
I said, like I said, when I.
hold on,
No,
slow
yeah, yeah.
down, slow
Go ahead. Go
down.
ahead. Go ahead. Go
We
ahead.
directly connected to the snitch hotline. I want to make sure I ain't have to
Oh, nah, for sure,
phone
man.
in a
Man,
call.
nah, nah, nah. You could call ICE. ICE. They do be putting
I
me in
seen
that
a.
room
I don't know
though.
if you seen a group of Cubans laying on Miami shores
Oh,
this
you
weekend. I
beat
got
them? You
triggered.
beat them? It was like
Oh,
it was like
I got
it was like
triggered.
12 of them. It was 12 of them. I seen
I
them.
got hey, I got triggered real quick. I was ready to start calling ice on niggas.
Like I
Niggas,
said,
I know they got their green card. Hey,
like
I
I
just
said,
run down on them niggas. They got something on them.
like I
They
said,
got drugs or
my
something.
visa got expired when I was a child. I had no control of that. I couldn't tell my parents back then, "Hey, don't take me to America." You know that was out of my control.
Right.
But that was a good experience because again, being an immigrant kid kept me away from drugs, kept me away from being a gang member. Because you could get a slap in the wrist. My ass gets deported. I'm not allowed to do crime in another country. So it kept me in line. Don't get me wrong. Later on, I started being an activist for DACA. I got DACA before from the Biden administration, from the Obama administration. I got DACA. I was a DACA baby. You could put it on you all you want, but I'm proud of people like Martin Luther King. I'm proud of people like Malcolm X that showed me the way of fighting for my rights. I used to pay my
Talking
own.
greasy. Why would you in the comment talking greasy, man? We don't
I
got
wasn't
a
talking
lot of time for
greasy.
babble.
I wasn't talking greasy, but at the end of the day,
No, no,
Hey,
no,
hold
no,
on, hold on.
no.
Hey,
and worst die of the day. And worst die of the day.
Advo. Listen, man. You listen. I see J. Edgar Hoover. I see what else? What else? MLK was an LGBTQ activist.
He
Uh,
was. He was.
what else? What else? What else? You R.I.P. Emmett to J. Edgar Hoover's body. MLK was a bootleg. I'm just saying you was making a lot of strong accusations. I just want to know. I just want you to go in, expound, go in, and you know what I'm saying. Like, let me know what you think. I'm not attacking you. I'm giving you the
Well,
chance. I'm reading your
well,
comments,
well.
and I want to give you a chance to speak on them. I'm just reposting the podcast on my YouTube link, so you got the mic.
No, my point is that as an activist, he's my inspiration, but also as an activist, I could also be aware of the dangers of talking against power and not having the backup. If you don't have the backup, there's certain things that you should shut up. Like for example, when I used to live in Florida, yeah, I would talk shit about Zach Lee. Now that I live in California and I live in Los Angeles, I know I'm in a different jurisdiction. I gotta follow the matters of the streets,
Huh,
even though I'm not a street
what?
person.
So you saying when you went to California in Zach Lee's neighborhood, you figured out how to walk a straight line and stand correct
I mean,
and tighten up because you was in the territory of Zach Lee.
not specifically for
So
ZL.
this say you
It's
were trolling, man. You were
not
trolling, bro.
not specifically for ZL for Zach Lee, but just on the fact that like you just marking yourself by doing that. You don't go Mr. Tough Guy because there's gonna be another tough guy regardless of anything. But going back to MLK, I just feel like people got to be more informed about his alienations because he was just not a black activist. He was pushing all the narratives.
Like what narratives? Educate us, man. I'm just trying to. You make comments. I want to be educated. I'm not gonna go crazy on you. You just this is this is one of the most prominent figures in American history. Probably easily a top 10 African American of all time, maybe number one. And
But Martin Luther King did help usher in the what we see now, the fatherless homes, the welfare state. Um, the poor mindset of what we have in the black community now. He did usher that
I
in.
think
Well, tell me
I,
how
I
you ushered it in, J.Doug. Tell me
I'm
how.
just by galvanizing that over exaggerating a condition that was in the South back then,
and I
basically.
also disagree with your comment about oh because he was not light enough, he was not good enough to be Boule. I disagree with that. I think that the fact that his background is kind of like a religious background. He was part of like a church, I guess. He's a reverend. Let's just say. So that equalizes not just obviously not physical whiteness, but that equalizes like pureness. That equalizes like a different hierarchy than a sharecropper, than a dark skinned, how house negro, like what is it, not house negro, what they call it, like field negro, for example. So like I don't think he represented that because he was needy cut, he was well spoken, which is not bad, but I don't think he represented that. I don't think he represented the field negro.
I feel you. I think Martin Luther King, honestly, um, you know, like I said before, I feel like he was a huge figure. He passed certain things for us as black people. I smell curry goat is crazy. I think he, made sure that we got certain bills, Poor People's Act, you know what I'm saying, fair housing. I feel like he let us take a step forward. We wouldn't be relegated and subjugated to lesser than materials, lesser than things. Because at the end of the day, before Martin Luther King did what he did, all of us would have been in the hood. None of us would have been able to have a suburb, even go to a suburb, or even have some type of living outside of like rundown shit. So for Martin
But
Luther
we
King,
still have rundown stuff because, like, think about this.
That's
Yo,
to say that the hood we're going to stay the hood. I feel like
the
it's
worst, the
the hood
worst
was the hood
country
when Martin
every
Luther King was running. That's why he was running. If the hood was
no.
so great,
It wasn't
that
no hood, bro.
it was the
Black
hood.
people had families. It
MLK
wasn't
Street,
no projects, bro,
MLK
before
Street
Martin
in
Luther
every
King.
urban city is a chaos. It looks like what was the
Bro, they
Amsterdam
had red summer. White men can come in your house and rape your wife and shoot your dog and leave and not get prosecuted
Bro, that
in the
was
late 50s and 60s. Like, why are we acting
they
like
could
niggas
still
is just
do that with the
why are we
fire
that was
acting like
a
department.
niggas is
rarity,
driving Cadillacs and
They
limousines and
could
eating
still
fried
do
chicken in
that
their
with the
own black
fire
neighborhoods?
department. The fire department burns your house, and then they the ones that write the receipts. Like, come on, man.
What does a fire department got to do with black Americans living in such bullshit that they had to fight for civil rights in the 50s and the 60s? Because obviously, if everything was such hunky dory and they had a great time being black by themselves, they wouldn't be fighting for civil rights.
but I would say that the black people in Greenville, Tulsa, Oklahoma, what everybody always want to refer to, this before civil rights, they was living good until you know that whole thing happened with Tulsa, Oklahoma.
You're talking about the same descendants of the Maroons, the same Maroons who fought
But I'm just saying, it was
for
a lot
Florida.
of black people that was living good, bro. I was telling you, the situation was over exaggerated, just the same stuff that you see today.
Yeah, like
But it was pretty much like white people living on farms. Everybody was for it. It wasn't like white people had solar power and black people didn't. Nobody
Also,
got.
why he didn't push the Second Amendment? So like he followed Gandhi, who was a known racist. He followed the non-violent, the non-thing, everything. Yo, Gandhi leaded a lot of men to their death, literally walking through a desert to go to Pakistan. Like he divided a country, like that. Like what we talking about? So that was his inspiration, and in reality, like you gotta his McCarthyism was very eminent during the 1960s.
his what
Who
is
was
him?
who was paying for those things? It's like look, I used to be in 2008. I used to be in a lot of protests. Uh, 4 years later, we find out that the FBI said that Russians and even the FBI was paying for activists to show up in locations that I was actually in. Like they paid for those locations. So it could be
Yep.
the same situation back in the 1960s. They paying for his trucks. They paying for the food. They paying for the pizza. Like, you know what I'm saying? They giving you shirts. But who's really paying for that? Like nowadays they call it George Soros. Back then they call it McCarthyism, and he was part of McCarthyism. Jews didn't fuck with him. I think the ADL has MLK as a what's the name of the word? I don't want to say that word in your
Anti Defamation
no,
League, anti
no,
Semitic.
no, no. But I don't want to say that word in your thing because it
Yeah.
will try to ban you.
Hey, hit the like button too. While y'all in here, make sure y'all hit the like button. You know what I'm saying? Make
Yeah,
sure
hit
like
the like
support the
button, bro.
viewers.
Yo, refrain
Um,
from cursing. We not allowed to curse no more on YouTube.
yeah. So listen, hey, Avo. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up because, like I said, I gotta get into these topics. But I do appreciate this conversation about MLK and your thoughts. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna go in on you and call you a tether and all these other